winning this fight tonight with our name lit up in lights. We are the new kings. This is our time to shine. Set it off like dynamite.
Friday Night Stars, presented by Whataburger, is brought to you by Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big. And by Whataburger. Head over to your hometown Whataburger and try the Patty Melt. They may not have been the first to think up this classic sandwich, but they put a pretty tasty spin on it.
It is week number 12 of this Texas high school football season, and you know what that means? It's playoff time in Texas. Welcome to Friday Night Stars. Bill Jones along with Kyle Yeomans, and yes, whether it's Friday night, Thursday night, Saturday afternoon, that's when we'll be playing these playoff games in a few weeks. It is a wonderful time of the year, Kyle.
No doubt about it. So many teams have already had their seasons ended. However, the rest of the teams all have an opportunity to run the table and to chase that dream of a state title. Coaches' dreams, players' dreams, parents. Doesn't matter. A lot of dreams will come true, and it's that 6-week march coming up to get to that point.
It's 6 weeks to AT&T Stadium in Arlington, and right before Christmas, of course, the state championship games will be played. We got a ton of games to get to this week. We start with our Whataburger game of the week, and I'm going to call this the Kyler Murray Bowl because Kyler Murray began his high school career at Lewisville High School. He then transferred to Allen High School, won 3 state championships there. Yes, it's the Eagles of Allen High against the Fighting Farmers of Lewisville, and Kyle Yeomans will be doing the honors in the broadcast booth Friday night.
Yeah, I'm so excited to call this matchup, and it's the first time that I've seen either one of these squads because both sides not so lucky in their first round draw. And I'll start with the Allen Eagles. That 7-3 record isn't necessarily what constitute what they've done as a ball club this year. Their loss to Prosper put them in this situation. They lost 2 of their last 3, but it also means they're battle tested because their losses this year, St. John Bosco, the #1 team in the country, Prosper, Geyer, 2 teams fighting for a state title. I really like their growth that I've seen over the last couple of weeks, including their quarterback, Mike Hawkins, the junior, last week against Little Elm, and a team that was also coming off of a big win. He had 5 touchdown passes in that matchup, and I talked to Coach Wigington earlier today. He was excited about the growth that he's seen out of this squad. He's excited to get to prove themselves against a team like Lewisville as well.
And Allen has some underclassmen who are some of the top recruits in the country. And how about the job Michael Odell has done with Lewisville, too?
Yeah, no doubt about it. The District 6A champions, one of the best defenses in the area, allows just 14 points per game, and they've got multiple starter recruits on that side of the football as well. But I really like their running game. You talk about that's how they help control the time of possession as they run the football with a big offensive front, very physical. They're going to go at the strength of the Allen defense, which is that defensive line. But I really like Ellison, the running back. 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns to go along with it. Expect there to be some highlights on the ground. Should be a fun one to watch.
All right, in Class 6A, Division II, Region 1, here you go. It's the McKinney Lions against the Coppell Cowboys.
And much like I said about Allen, throw the records out the window for this one as well. McKinney, their losses this season to Temple, Geyer, Prosper, and Allen. So much like we just talked about with Allen, they come out of that tough district, and they are battle-tested as well. McKinney has one of the most prolific rushing attacks in the state behind Brian Jackson, the running back, Keldrick Luster, the quarterback. They lost 3 of their last 4, but they have still hosted and boasted one of the top 10 offenses in 6A throughout the entire state of Texas. There's Keldrick Luster right there. He's so elusive. He's a powerful runner. He's also gotten better and grown as a passer as well, so keep that in mind with the Lions moving forward.
And Brian Jackson, their running back, being recruited by the likes of Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State. He's got over 30 offers, 6 foot, 225-pound junior. By the way, the winner of this game will play the winner of Arlington versus Jesuit, and in this half of the bracket is also South Lake Carroll on down the road. All right, let's move on to Class 6A, Division II, Region 1, the matchup between the Marcus Marauders and the Geyer Wildcats. Geyer unbeaten on the season, led by the 13th ranked recruit in the state. That would be the quarterback, Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, we don't do predictions on this show for state championships, but if we did, Bill Jones, my prediction would be Denton Geyer. This is such a complete team all three phases, offense, defense, special teams. And then you talk about Jackson Arnold, 27 passing touchdowns, just the 3 interceptions. He boasts the second best offense in the state behind Byron Nelson at that 6A level as well. I really like their running back, Trey Joyner. They've all been on a mission, the Guyer Wildcats, to complete the job that they didn't finish last year as state finalists. I think they do finish the job. They are very good. But on the other side, this Marcus Marauders team, if you wanted to put a team on upset alert that shouldn't be on upset alert, this would be the type of matchup that could do it. They've got a 1-2 punch at quarterback and wide receiver that will get hot at some point in this ball game, and that's Cole Welliver and Ashton Kozar. Both of those guys, if that passing game can get hot early on, they've got a chance to make this something, but they cannot get behind against that Guyer offense or else things are going to get really tough later in that ball game.
And the winner of this game plays the winner of Highland Park and Arlington Bowie. In this half of the bracket also is Byron Nelson, which takes us to the notable 6A playoff games this week. You got Byron Nelson playing Boswell. You've got Highland Park hosting Bowie, and you've got Wiley against Mesquite Horn. How about we start by taking a deep dive into Byron Nelson against Boswell?
Yeah, there's a lot of future matchups that experts are looking down the line for that aren't necessarily set in stone, and this is a big reason why. Byron Nelson, I just mentioned how they were the top offense in the state. Jake Wilson, quarterback, 3,200 yards, 32 touchdowns, 4 interceptions this season. But Boswell, on the other side, this is a team that's extremely underrated. You talk about upset alert. I like this Boswell team a lot. They're complete in the passing game. They can run the football, and their front seven absolutely gets after that. That pass rush is going to make Jake Wilson make some decisions.
By the way, Boswell is trying to knock off Byron Nelson for the second time this week. The Boswell volleyball team beat Byron Nelson in the regional quarterfinals to advance to the regional tournament. And Byron Nelson won state in volleyball just a couple of years ago, so I'm thinking it might be. So Boswell's trying to do it twice against Byron Nelson in 1 week. And how about Highland Park and Randy Allen? They move up to Class 6A. And, of course, once upon a time, they were in the largest classification in Texas. Had a lot of success, of course, in 5A, and they should get rolling here against Arlington Bowie.
Yeah, you always hear about the playoff time mantra of things just are different under the lights of playoff. Things are different in Highland Park. It's Highland Park time. This is where the Scotties come alive. It doesn't matter who they're playing, when they're playing, what they're playing. It doesn't even matter. Brennan Storer is the biggest storyline for the Scotties this year. That quarterback and having his experience a couple years back behind center is going to be huge for Randy Allen and company. That is a dangerous team. They always are, no matter what classification they're playing.
And they always seem to have a quarterback, too, and Brennan Storer is the Western Michigan commit, having a big season for Randy Allen, a 2-year starter there. We're just getting started here on Friday Night Stars. When we come back, it's the Showdowns at the Star.
This segment was brought to you by Whataburger. Head over to your hometown Whataburger and try the Patty Melt. They may not have been the first to think up this classic sandwich, but they put a pretty tasty spin on it. This segment is brought to you by Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big.
We are counting down to kickoff at Ford Center here at the Star in Frisco. The start of the Texas high school football playoffs, about 20 minutes away. And here at the Star tonight, it's the unbeaten district champion Frisco Reedy against the Longhorns of W.T. White High School. What a season Chad Cole and his Reedy Lions have put together this year.
Yeah, they've really been phenomenal. I got to give credit to Caleb Deal. You see his name there as the quarterback, but he's not the only guy to watch out for that Reedy Lions team. They have so many weapons, and I feel like every time I watch them, it's somebody else that emerges as that go-to weapon. Dennis Moody, he was thought to be in a loaded backfield, a running back by committee backfield. Instead, he's exploded onto the scene, and he's had a fantastic season, running into the end zone nearly 20 times on the campaign. Caleb Smith, Texas Tech commit. A.J. J-Rowe offers the same, Houston and others along the way. They've got weapons all the way through that offense. On the other side for W.T. White, their only losses, though, were against the best teams in District 5, 5A, Timberview, Birdville, Richland. 2 of those games were very close. The only one that wasn't was that one against Timberview, one of the best teams in 5A. But I like this WT White squad. I think it's unfortunate that they drew the Reedy Lions, though.
Well, and what's interesting and what I really like about playoff time here at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco is that some teams outside Frisco ISD now get an opportunity to play here at the Star. That's the case with WT White out of Dallas ISD and out of Grapevine, Colleyville ISD. The Heritage Panthers from Colleyville play Frisco Emerson on Friday night in another showdown at the Star. And Heritage comes in 7-3 on the season, while Emerson just that lone loss.
Yeah, Colleyville Heritage isn't any stranger to playing at the Star in Frisco. They've done it a couple times because they've made some runs over the years underneath Kirk Martin and company. They're looking to do the same thing again this year, but they won their final 3 games, and they did so in huge fashion. 50-plus points put up. Their last loss going up against that Grapevine ball club and Arlington Heights there too. Another team out of Fort Worth that I know we'll talk about a little bit later on in the show. But watch out for Colleyville Heritage to sneak out this ball game, even though they have a couple of losses to their total. But Emerson impressed me last week. They had a big win against fellow 8-1 team Independence last week. They ran the football especially well, but it was the defense that was impressive. They've got about 3 or 4 linebackers that they rotate in at the second level of that Mavericks defense. They do not care who is out on the field. They make the play. They stuff the run. They get to sideline to sideline. I like this Emerson bunch a lot, but this is going to be one of my favorite games to keep an eye on throughout the weekend.
By the way, speaking of volleyball, Colleyville Heritage knocked off Argyle this week to advance to their regional tournament in volleyball. And so we'll see what the Heritage Panthers can do. Other notable 5A playoff games, you mentioned Arlington Heights out of that same district with Grapevine and Colleyville Heritage. One of the notable games taking on Frisco Independence. Argyle will host Wyatt, and it's Denton Ryan playing at Red Oak and South Oak Cliff and Summit. Let's talk Argyle Eagles here because this is a team that has made the run all the way to state numerous times in the past in Class 4A. Now this year they moved up to Class 5A, and like Highland Park, Argyle has not missed a beat in moving up in classification.
No, they really started the year as the top-ranked team in 5A Division II, and they've continued that all the way through as well. I really am interested to see what the quarterback situation looks like for Argyle. They've gone back and forth with a couple guys, Alex Muller, John Gailey. Both have had a significant amount of playing time, but that's the thing. They have so many weapons on the outside, including R.J. Bunnell, who just keeps running the football at a strong pace and just finds a way, especially in short yardage situations, to get the job done. I like Argyle all the way through, but this is a powerful, powerful team poised to make a run.
Yeah, and they're in 5A Division II, as is South Oak Cliff. Now, South Oak Cliff is in Region 2, while Argyle's in Region 1. So if they met in the playoffs, it would be in a state semifinal game.
Ooh, that would be a must-punch ticket. I would love to watch that matchup. And you talked earlier about Argyle. They haven't skipped a beat. South Oak Cliff, coming off of a state title run, might have skipped the beat early in the season. They got off to a slower start. Coach Todd and company really wasn't necessarily looking like the South Oak Cliff of past, but they've done a great job of rallying the troops, getting everybody together, getting that mindset right, and the Mecca looks like the Mecca again, and that's South Oak Cliff. They are poised to make a run as well.
The guys that are dressed in gold, and they collected a lot of gold balls last year, and they're primed to do it again this year. All right, still much more to come here on Friday Night Stars, including notable Thursday games straight ahead, plus we'll look ahead to Friday as well when we come back in a moment.
This segment was brought to you by Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big. This segment is brought to you by Whataburger. Head over to your hometown Whataburger and try the Patty Melt. They may not have been the first to think up this classic sandwich, but they put a pretty tasty spin on it.
There is a newcomer that has joined the list of perennial powers in the postseason. Frisco Panther Creek has qualified for the 4A playoffs in its first year of playing varsity football. The Panthers won 3 district games, earning a spot in the postseason. Their reward? Panther Creek plays undefeated Anna on Friday.
You know, our goal all season is just to continue to get better every single game. We set some high expectations.
The whole expectation was to win those games and go into the playoffs because we knew what we had here. no one expected us, but I think we, kind of expected that of us to make the playoffs.
The expectations going into this game, yes, we may be the underdogs, but that's been the same memo the whole season.
And in case you've lost count, Panther Creek is the 12th Frisco ISD school. It keeps growing and growing out here. The notable Thursday games, South Lake Carroll's playing host to Crowley. It's Jesuit versus Arlington. Aledo is hosting Killeen Shoemaker. Who do you like out of those three games?
Oh, they're all really good games. And I think South Lake is very interesting because they're trying to find themselves with Graham Knowles at quarterback. 14 of 20 last week, went for 218 and 4 touchdowns in that ball game. But watch out for that Jesuit and Arlington game. Arlington played okay down the stretch. 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 1. But then there's Jesuit, who roared down the stretch. Their only loss to Highland Park, and that was a close football game as well.
Yep, and Aledo is Aledo, of course.
Aledo.
8-2 on the season, which is unusual for Aledo, but you talk about rolling down the stretch. Aledo has done exactly that. All right, how about this matchup as Lake Dallas travels to Mustang Panthers Stadium in Grapevine to take on the 9-1 district champion Grapevine Mustangs.
Yeah, they've already had a playoff game. Lake Dallas did last week because their win over Denton kept their season alive. And you talk about an underrated underclassmen group. That's Lake Dallas. This is a team that hasn't won a lot over the last couple of years. They have found a way recently to have some success, especially in a tough district with Independence, with Emerson. Argyle certainly, of course, is still Argyle, the #1 team in 5A Division II. But Lake Dallas has looked like not only they belonged, but they were contenders all the way through. They lost some of those games, but overall still a really fun ball club to watch. Grapevine, on the other hand, so run heavy that I'm interested to see if Lake Dallas is a bad matchup because Lake Dallas can throw the football around a little bit. Parker Polk is as good as they come, though. I expect the Mustangs, with no pun intended, to run away with this football game, but they may do so with 300 yards on the ground because Polk is just that go-to ball carrier.
I like looking at common opponents, and these two teams have a common opponent, that is Argyle. Lake Dallas lost to Argyle by 16. Grapevine lost to Argyle by 16. Ooh. This game is going to overtime. Our power programs when we come back on Friday Night Stars.
It was the first game, first time I ever played, like got in a real game, like it was in high school. I jumped off sides my very first play, and then the whole defense was like, get him off, get him off. Then the next play, I made like this, then like six yard tackle for loss the next play. Then I made like 3 sacks that game. No, it was crazy. That was like my first game, and then like even on the film, you can see like everybody, like the older guys telling me get off, like telling coach to get me off, but he didn't. And I just played. I played one of my best games.
I'd love to see that footage of Sam Williams in high school in Montgomery, Alabama. Don't you know he just dominated?
He was probably phenomenal,
yes.
No doubt.
Speaking of phenomenal, every week we've got our power programs, and maybe we should call these phenomenal programs, Kyle.
No doubt. Now I've got the undefeated 6A district champions, and almost every single district champion in the area out of 6A was undefeated. Geyer, South Lake, Duncanville, all very much capable of winning it all. Some dark horses in the mix too, but then there's also teams like Lewisville that's going to face a tough test in their first matchup with Allen. And I do want to give credit, the only one not on this list, Wiley East. They won District 9 6A with 1 loss. They're the only ones I didn't add to the list.
All right, and I've got my perennial power programs as we set the table for the playoffs. And yes, all-time, Aledo, state record, 10 state championships. South Lake Carroll with 8. Salina, the Bobcats have 8. The Plano Wildcats are back in the playoffs this year. They've got 7. And, of course, Highland Park, the original, with 6 state championships. I would say that's a pretty good list right there. It'll be interesting to see if anyone will increase that number.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance a couple of them could, right? I mean, I'm really looking up and down that list, and there's at least 3 schools. I'm not going to make any other predictions. I already said Geyer. I'm not going to make any other predictions, but I will say there's at least 3 schools there that I could either see in a state semifinal, state final, or holding up the trophy at the end of it all.
We got another prediction to come here. We are going to predict that the Landry Award will be given out next month, and we've got the latest watch list when we come back in a moment.
Friday Night Stars, presented by Whataburger, was brought to you by Texas Lottery. Play the Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. It's your ticket for a chance to win big. And by Whataburger. Head over to your hometown Whataburger and try the patty melt. They may not have been the first to think up this classic sandwich, but they put a pretty tasty spin on it.
It's postseason time in Texas high school football. It's also Landry Award time, given out each year to the top high school football player in North Texas, not only for his work on the field, but off the field as well, sponsored by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And here are the notable area running backs topping the list at 1,900 yards. Jaden Walker of McKinney North, and some pretty good backs on that list, Kyle Yeomans.
Oh, all the way through, up and down. I mean, we've mentioned Owen Allen. I can't even count how many times we've talked about him. And, of course, he being back in the fold and just running the football as well as South Lake Carroll does certainly will be in that conversation, I think, for a Landry Award finalist or semifinalist right in that area. I love the fact that we've been running the football here in 2022. I feel like the ground games have been impressive across the board in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So a lot of these running backs are going to get their due diligence. They're going to get their due notability as well.
That's right. And the first winner of the Landry Award, won it 2 years in a row, was the great Jonathan Gray from Aledo High School. For Kyle Yeomans, I'm Bill Jones. We'll see you again next week on Friday Night Stars.